What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. I'm Imani Murray, and this is my YouTube channel where I share social media tips and tricks to help brands and businesses improve their online presence. And today we are talking about this 30-day Reels challenge that I decided to do this year. We're going to talk about the lessons I've learned, the mistakes I made, and how you can actually prepare to have a successful challenge, a successful Reels TikTok challenge, whichever one you want to do, whether it's 7 days, 15 days, 30 days. We're going to get into it. But let's first talk about this challenge, right? So at the top of the year, I decided I wanted to really just up my content and be more disciplined and just switch things up kind of, right? And I figured, and I wanted to get a lot more into Reels. And I figured, why not do a 30 days challenge? I don't know why I figured that, but I did. And posting every day. The challenge was to post every single day. It definitely was a way for me to push myself. It definitely was a way for me to challenge myself. And boy, did it challenge me. After the first 7 days, I failed. I failed miserably. My first mistake was I did not plan out this challenge at all. It was kind of like a last minute thing. And there was a lot going on. January is a very crazy month. So me doing a challenge in my time it didn't go together. It didn't work. So that was my first mistake. I didn't accurately plan. I didn't successfully plan for this, right? So 7 days in, I fail. And I will say my content was good. I would like to say my content was good. But what I was noticing was I just wanted to get some type of content up. So I was throwing up anything on some days. I was just throwing up whatever just to say that I uploaded a reel, which is not a good idea. It's a big no-no. And I knew it was a no-no, but I needed to get this challenge done. Yeah, no, don't do that, right? So after the 7 days, I realized we're going to give this a break and we're going to try again in February. February comes around and I'm a little bit more prepared. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been, but I was a little bit more prepared. From January, I did have a spreadsheet that pretty much tracked all my analytics because at this point Instagram still does not have any insights for Reels, which is kind of annoying, but what can we do? So I put together a brief little spreadsheet just to track my numbers. So I had my spreadsheet and I had somewhat of a game plan. This time I decided I wasn't going to post on the weekends, and for anybody who's doing some type of challenge like this, you can customize it to benefit your life, to benefit you. I knew I didn't want to upload on the weekends because the weekends are my off days. I don't want to do any type of work on the weekends. The second thing that I figured out at the beginning of February was at the beginning of each week, I would plan out what my reel would be or what the theme of that week was, because I wanted to tap into each of my content pillars, which is social media tips, travel, entrepreneurship, and event planning. And I wanted to make sure that whenever I uploaded a YouTube video, my reels tied back to my YouTube video. I had somewhat of a strategy, but not like a real planned out strategy. Unfortunately, I did fail again in February. After I think about 2 weeks, it was a lot, okay? It was a lot. And because I didn't plan, that was my biggest mistake. So February comes, I get halfway through the month, if that, and I fail. I do not make it through the full 28 days of uploading. And I thought this would be easier because technically February is a shorter month. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of cheating, but nobody has to know. It's really only 28 days versus 30 days. Yeah, no, I still played myself. And part of the reason why in February I failed was because I had a lot of stuff going on with my business. So creating content comes second to my business. Now, I will say this challenge did allow me to really see what my followers wanted to see from me. It showed me what content they enjoyed and what content they didn't enjoy. Another benefit this challenge had was it allowed me to create a presence on another platform, which is TikTok. I already had a TikTok account, but I wasn't really using it. Honestly, it was just there. But because Reels and TikToks are formatted the same way, I was able to share all my Instagram Reels to TikTok and then start, gaining followers, gaining traction on there. So 2 big positives out of it. I really learned who and what people wanted to see from me, and I was able to repurpose my content on TikTok. Now that I kind of gave you an insight into this 30-day Reels challenge, let's get into how you can actually have a successful challenge and not make the same mistakes that I did. So the first thing is you want to determine your purpose. Are you trying to increase your followers? Are you trying to increase your sales? Are you trying to become more consistent? Are you trying to increase the clicks to your website? Are you trying to grow your platform? What are you really trying to do with this challenge? What is the purpose? And really figure out and really ask yourself, are you challenging yourself with this challenge? If not, then you need to, up it more. The second thing you need to do when doing a challenge is put together a spreadsheet or some type of document that tracks your numbers. So as I mentioned before, I had a spreadsheet that tracked all of my numbers for Reels and TikToks. I had the first two columns were the date and the time I uploaded, right? So putting together the spreadsheet that tracked the date and the time allowed me to realize when's the best time for me to upload, what day, what time. So for me, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. are typically the better times for me to upload versus maybe Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Now, yes, Instagram does have an insight section where you can see when your followers are best active. Sometimes it does seem a little off to me, so I did want to go in and experiment myself, and it was saying that I should be uploading Wednesdays at 3 p.m., but I noticed my content was not performing the best compared to Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. So yes, Instagram gives you insights for you to pay attention to, but you can also experiment yourself and figure out what's best for you. And this may be because there are no insights for Reels. So maybe that's why there was a difference. It wasn't consistent for Reels. And of course, the spreadsheet also tracked how many followers I have and how many people I'm following. I did, of course, take note of the views, the shares, the comments, and the likes. Now, as I mentioned before, Instagram does not have actual insights for Reels. So the only type of insights you get are like the views, the likes, the comments. You can also see who reshared your reel to their story, but only within 24 hours. So that's why my spreadsheet only tracked my numbers for the first 24 hours. So if I uploaded the reel Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., Thursday at 7:30 p.m., I was taking notes of all of the numbers. Now, in order to actually see who reshared your reel to their story, all you have to do is click on the feed post of your reel, not the actual reel, but go into your profile. If you shared the reel to your feed, then it'll pop up on your feed, and the three dots at the top right, it'll say view story reshares. I'm hoping they decide to introduce insights for Reels, because it was really annoying having to like really pull my own numbers instead of like seeing who really liked it, who saved it, maybe how long they watched the reel. And as always, being able to track my numbers, being able to track these insights, these analytics, really helps me to understand what content works and what content doesn't. For instance, I would edit and format my YouTube videos, turn them into a reel, and share it on my page and say, hey, just dropped a new video, go check it out, blah, blah, blah. I noticed that those types of videos did not do as well. But I took that same information that I said in my real version of my YouTube, and I put it in, and I created a whole separate new reel, and I just took that same information, just did a different reel, did so much better than the one where I actually just reformatted my YouTube video. I'm still trying to figure out why that's the case. The third thing is you need to have a strategy. You need to have a content strategy, which includes figuring out what you're going to talk about, what trending audio or video you're going to use, scheduling out time to actually create the content, right? Figuring out your caption, your hashtags. Are you going to have a cover image for the reel? Or are you just going to use one of the slides in the actual reel? You got to plan out, you got to strategize when you're going to record, when you're going to edit, the information that you're going to share. Something that I didn't do. But another thing that this challenge did allow me to realize is I needed to sit down and figure out a content day. Plan out a day just strictly for my content, and I thankfully was able to do that. So now I have one day out of the week, which is Tuesdays, where I just focus on content, whether that's recording YouTube videos, recording TikToks, recording Reels. Tuesdays are my content days. I do nothing else on Tuesdays except for record and edit content. So if you're someone that struggles with actually putting aside time to create the content, really sitting down and figuring out how you can schedule out some time is super important. Because during this day, I can sit here and batch record a bunch of different Reels and TikToks and not have to worry about it when it's time to upload. Unfortunately, I realized this towards the end of the challenge, but I realized it, which is important either way, right? Another thing that I implemented during this challenge as a part of my strategy was I planned out my content. So I had a calendar. Every day had what reel was going to be uploaded that day. Whether it was just a topic or maybe it's just an idea, and then as I started recording, the idea and the topic came together. But I used the calendar to really try and keep me on track, and it helped me visualize what I was doing. Another thing is, if you're sharing information, if you're sharing tips, if you're sharing resourceful information, it's really helpful to put together an outline. So this is all a part of the strategy. You want to have an outline, you want to have a calendar, you want to have a day, maybe schedule out some time to just create this content in bulk. Another thing is you need to make it fun. That was another mistake that I made because it was so last minute and I was just winging it. It was kind of turning into a job versus me just having fun with it. So when you plan it out in advance, you don't have to worry about stressing yourself out and trying to figure out what you're going to create. You already have the content created early in advance, so then you can make it fun, you can make it light, right? This challenge was becoming more of a job versus a fun project that I just wanted to do. And that's not cool. It's not worth it, right? So when I did relax and I created the lighthearted, fun content, that was usually the content that did much better than the one that was, driving me crazy. For example, I did the June bug challenge, right? And I think that was the only TikTok and reel that I did that I danced, and I made it fun, and that was one of my top reels. And I was still able to share information. So just because it's fun doesn't mean it can't be informative. So you still want to be able to, serve your purpose, but also make it entertaining. And all I did was repurpose one of my YouTube videos where I talked about Instagram features that can help you generate income. I pulled that information that I talked about in that video, turned it into a reel, turned it into a TikTok, and that's one of my best TikToks, best reel to this day. People really enjoyed that one. And that's because I tapped into what was trending at that point. So don't overthink it. When you're creating your reels, your TikToks, do not overthink it. And the last thing is, if you are going to be doing a Reels challenge, you want to make sure that you don't have watermarks from other apps, aka TikTok. And you want to make sure that it's not horizontal and that it's not blurry, because Instagram already told us they're not going to push our content. They're not going to push your content if it has watermarks, if it's blurry, and if it's horizontal. They're telling us what they want to see. So just, try and follow it. So I hope you guys learn from my mistakes. Definitely plan out your content. Definitely don't rush to do it, and make it fun. Strategize and make it fun. This goes for Reels and TikToks. And if you haven't already, make sure you go check out my last video where I talk about why you should be incorporating videos into your social media strategy. So thank you for watching. I will probably be doing another Reels challenge, or attempting to do another Reels TikTok challenge later this year. Not anytime soon, later this year probably. So thank you for watching. As always, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Imani, and I will see you in my next video.